Hello and welcome back to the channel for a very special video indeed. Today I'm going to be discussing the news that Ncuti Gatwa will be playing the next Doctor Who. News which came pretty much out of nowhere really. I mean, it is still just about Sunday the 8th of May at the time of recording this, than the day that the news was unveiled. This is slightly later than I would have liked it to be, this video, so apologies for that. But yeah, you can't really help it because this was completely random. I mean, essentially what happened, is sort of my luck, I basically left the house for the day like half an hour before the news broke. It had sort of been teased beforehand and I was sort of thinking, oh, you know, is something coming? Is something coming? And nothing happened immediately, and then, you know, it was another half an hour or so, and I was at the house, and the news broke. And so I was like, oh, damn it, I can't do anything straight away. I'm going to have to wait until I'm home in the evening later on today to do one of these. I mean, it does help in a sense having a bit longer to sort of dwell on this news because it gives you more of a chance to process it and to think about what you really think of it. So without further ado, what do I think of this? What do I think of it? I think the main thing to say with this right from the off is that I did not know who this chap was from Adam before the news was sort of teased and then broke earlier on today. So that's the main thing really. I would say the fact that this is a completely new face to me. I've got no preconceptions or anything. I haven't watched any of his previous work, so it very much is a blank slate in that regard. I mean, the very first thing I saw of him was that sort of headshot they released when they had actually confirmed the news. So that will always be my sort of very first sort of things to go off, I guess. And when I saw that, you know, I thought, okay, you know, this guy looks quite striking. I mean, in terms of complexion and stuff, he doesn't look dissimilar to other sort of doctors that have been suggested in the past, like other black actors like Paston Joseph, for instance, or even like a male version of Tania Miller. You know, it's not a dissimilar sort of look. So I think in that regard, one of the very first things I sort of thought about it was that he both looks very different to the previous Doctors we've had up until this point, but also he's sort of perfect because of that, and because he looks so similar to other actors that have been suggested for the role for so many years. It's that sort of thing of, I guess, that this makes sense. It's like a logical choice. I mean, obviously having a person of colour as a Doctor as well isn't a logical choice, and it would kind of been a bit weird, I think, if that hadn't happened this time around. You know, we'd had Joe Martin playing the fugitive Doctor, obviously. It makes sense to now go the extra step and say, we're going to have a person of colour playing the Doctor full time. So I think in that regard, you know, although it was someone who I didn't know anything about, someone I hadn't seen before, someone I didn't even know existed, you know, all that sort of stuff. Even in spite of that, when I saw that image, I kind of thought to myself, you know, okay, this makes sense as like a next logical progression from what we've seen of the Doctor so far. I mean, on that point, one thing, you know, quite clearly that I think perhaps is a bit surprising about this is the fact that it's not another woman, you know, straight away. I'd gone on record in the past as saying that I'd personally like to see a woman playing the Doctor, you know, again, next for the 14th Doctor. And obviously that's not happened this time round. So it's not something where I'm kind of disappointed it's not happened this time round as such, because, you know, it can happen in the future, you know, for the 15th Doctor or whatever, or that they can, maybe we just fluctuate between male and female Doctors now. Maybe that's just how this works. I mean, the bottom line is that RCD has chosen this guy and seen potential in him and whatever, so, you know, I completely trust his decision and trust his judgment there, and, you know, look forward to seeing what he brings to the role. And, you know, I've got a slight idea of what that might entail, having now seen various YouTube clips and interviews and stuff with him, you know, since the reveal. Including, of course, the one he did at the BAFTAs with RCD, his first interview in the role since the announcement. And I think from watching, you know, those various clips and things, what strikes me about him and the way he talks and presents himself and all that sort of stuff is that he's got quite a sort of cheeky personality, quite a larger-than-life personality potentially. I think he might be quite a flamboyant Doctor potentially as well. I mean, this is all hypothetical. We don't know which way they're going to go. I mean, he could be the most dark, sad, miserable Doctor ever for all we know, but somehow I don't think that's the avenue they're going to go down, because, yeah, I think, you know, clearly this guy has got a lot of that innate sort of charm and personality and stuff, and I think they're going to definitely build that into his Doctor. So I can definitely see it working in that regard. But again, I think the thing I keep coming back to with this is that, you know, it's not someone I knew of before, it's not someone I know a lot about even now, so I think basically the point I'm coming back to is that actually I am reserving judgment here. You know, I have trust in RTD, like I say, to have made a good decision and to have seen something and seen the potential in Ncuti, but beyond that, not a whole lot more else to say. Just apart from the fact that, you know, obviously this doesn't come around very often, you know, the chance to have a new Doctor and to have a new Doctor announcement, and so it is just good to sort of dwell on what that feels like and all the sort of hype surrounding that, obviously. I mean, it is such a weird feeling, and I'm sort of reminded of this, you know, now being in the situation again where, you know, we've got an outgoing Doctor, we've got an incoming Doctor who, you know, more than ever, I know absolutely next to nothing about. I mean, this really is, you know, the biggest case of this since Matt Smith back in 2009, when he was a complete stranger, essentially, a complete unknown, and yeah, no one really knew what he was going to bring to the role or anything. And it's a similar sort of case here. I mean, yes, I know that Ncuti isn't like a completely unknown actor. He has got a large following. I think he's got like 2.5 million followers on Instagram, and he's quite famous for sex education. He's got various other things in the pipeline as well that are going to be coming out between now and obviously, you know, his first appearance as the Doctor. So he's by no means an unknown quantity in that regard. But by the same token, there are obviously a lot of us who didn't know who he was and are sort of seeing him for the first time in this context. And I guess it is just that sort of feeling, isn't it, of sort of seeing someone for the first time, you know, more than ever this time, like I say, because it is a completely unknown quantity, to me at least. You know, seeing this face for the very first time and sort of slowly, it sort of, I guess, over time will become more Doctor-like. I can see it in certain images of him, you know, I can see certain pictures I'm looking at right now as I'm recording this, where I can sort of see the glint and the charm that makes the Doctor in certain photos, you know, of him on Google Images and stuff. But yeah, even so, it's just one of those things that takes time, and it's just such a weird thing, you know, to think that, you know, today history was made. History was made today, and we didn't even know it was going to happen. It was completely out of nowhere, completely random. It's not every day that a new Doctor is added to that list, a new name to that list, and that is something very much to celebrate. And like I say, just very weird to have a new name to add to that list and to see it written down, to sort of think, you know, this guy's the Doctor now. You know, it's just, it's bizarre. It's a really strange feeling. It doesn't quite feel real, doesn't quite feel right in a sense, you know. All of a sudden we've got this new Doctor, but yeah, obviously that will come with time. It's not a problem with the casting in itself, which, like I say, now I have complete trust and faith in, you know, with RTD and, you know, with this guy's pedigree as well. You know, Ncuti, he seems like a really interesting chap, you know, with a lot of personality, like I say, a lot of charm, a lot to give to the role. And I guess that's the exciting part of this, really, just speculating on what might be and what might happen, because we really do know nothing about what it's going to be like, and that is so exciting. So those are my thoughts. Please do let me know in the comments section below what you make of this casting, whether you are over the moon or disappointed or somewhere in the middle, and whether you knew of Ncuti, you know, before the announcement, or whether, you know, like me, you're seeing him for the first time here and learning about him for the first time. Whatever your stance is, whatever your take is on this, your opinion, please let me know. It would be great to hear what people have got to say. Please do give this video a like if you have enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And if you want to go one step further, the link to my Patreon page is in the video description. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. The future is indeed here, and goodbye for now.